I'm back, your host, Jack Remington, of the Jack Remington NFL channel. This is video 2 for week 2. We have 2 entries in the SUPE similar contest, so let's get to the picks right away. Pick number 1. We're using the Packers again. I don't need to go through the explanation if you watched the first video. Pick number 2. Jacksonville Jaguars hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. They're getting 3.5 points as home underdog. At the end of the video, I'm going to do one little spiel about the home underdogs, but still, I like this home underdog. We got a decent chance. Let me explain my position on this game here. What I'm looking for another nail biter like that Monday Night Football last week between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Detroit Lions. The Chiefs still have not announced whether the tight end Travis Kelce is going to suit up for this game. He's nursing that knee bruise. I mean, they're very painful. I've had a couple of them in my time. General conversation when I talk to my daughters, they say that Taylor Swift, the celebrity, the hot little singer, she was spending some time with Travis Kelce. So, hey, I was young once, and I do understand, 1,000%. Hey, I got a message for you, Travis Kelce. Have Mrs. Taylor Swift take a look at that bruised knee for a week or two or more. No hurry to get back to the NFL, at least this week. Wait until next week before you decide to get a new flavor of the month. No, seriously, the Jags lost a hard-fought playoff game against the Kansas City Chiefs last year, and they actually injured Patrick Mahomes. I remember this, but the Jags couldn't capitalize. I mean, they narrowed the gap from 13 to 7, but they couldn't get any closer, and they didn't even cover the spread, I don't think. Chad Henne came off the bench and did a pretty good job. That's why a backup quarterback is so important. Last week, everybody's complaining about, the Colts almost beat the Jaguars. Well, no, I think the Jacksonville was looking ahead to this game. And the Colts were winning that game at one point, and it was a close game until they pulled away in the middle of the third quarter. Now, the Chiefs did sign defensive end Chris Jones, that big beast in the middle, but is he in football shape? I say no. I played sports. I wasn't a professional, but I played enough sports. I know enough about it. And my record speaks for itself, by the way. I think that Chris Jones, if they put him in there, is for a decoy, or I don't know why they even put him in there. Unless he really has been working all this time, and I've seen nothing to prove that. Most players, when they're holding out and having contract disputes, they stop going to the gym. That's what they do. That's okay. It's human behavior. But we're not Sigmund Freud's here, although we should be. But I'm gambling that Chris Jones is not going to be a big factor in this game. So this is a wasted roster spot. So that's one less person that Kansas City can use that's in football shape. And this is Andy Reid at his best. But I can't make fun of Andy Reid and bash him like I did the last few years, but he's won 2 Lombardis now. But the Chiefs wide receiver core is the worst in the NFL, in my opinion, especially without Travis Kelce. And you saw the drops that Kansas City had last week, and it proves my point. In the true grind of that game, the slower the Jacksonville Jags can slow this game down to a crawl and keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline, I think the Jags got a better chance to cover and let them even win this game. Send the Super Bowl champs to 0-2. And no one's expecting that, so that's another reason why I think there's a good chance it might happen. No one's expecting the high and mighty Kansas City Chiefs to go 0-2. But they could, couldn't they? I don't think Kansas City Chiefs defense is that good. I like my chances here. I think the Chiefs defense is overrated. They had one good game last year, and that was the Super Bowl in the second half when they needed it against the Eagles. You have to admit I'm right with that statement. Pick number 3, Los Angeles Rams, +8, hosting the San Francisco 49ers. I know I'm getting in front of the freight train here with the 49ers. They look like the number 1 top-ranked team in the NFL in many people's power ratings. I get it. From top to bottom, they might have the best personnel in the league. But I'm looking for a continuation of the rejuvenated Matthew Stafford. In my not-so-humble opinion, is a far, far better quarterback than this Brock Purdy. Okay, once the coaches get some more tape on the Brock Purdy guy, he will fade on the bench somewhere when the 49ers head coach Mike Shanahan blunders through another gold roster fiasco like this Trey Lance once more. The Trey Lance thing was completely botched, and Shanahan should take all the blame for that. And I've been warning people for years how bad this coach really is. But when you got so much talent, they're going to win games. I mean, they win in spite of Shanahan. But Matthew Stafford has had success against the 49er defense that didn't really do much that much against Pittsburgh last week. I know they won 30-7. I know they dominated in the first half. I don't think Pittsburgh had a positive play till the second quarter, and they didn't even get their first down until 2 minutes left in the half. But this 8-point reaction, I think the local headline had The 49ers minus 3.5. Now it's 8. It's now 7.5. So somebody's coming in on the Rams. But I think this is a way overreaction. When I do this, when I take an underdog like this, I'm looking for a close game. I'm looking for a close game first, or I'm looking for the actual upset. I don't think there's much question that the 49ers are a superior team. But the Rams were the champions a couple years ago. They got some pieces on that team that rival the 49ers. Let me word it that way. I think Sean McVay's a pretty good coach. He's rejuvenated. I think he's a better coach than Shanahan. I think Stafford's better than Brock Purdy. And I think Aaron Donald's better than Bosa. So 3 things right there that are in my favor. But there's 52 men on the team, or 14 coaches on every team. So we'll see. I also think that the odds makers are completely discrediting what the Rams did to Seattle on the road last week in Seattle. They're just dismissing that Seattle's bad and that Seattle had a bad game. I think the odds makers they want you to think that. The line could have been much higher. I mean, the line could have been 49ers minus 13.5, minus 11. They put a minus 8 number out there to make it look good. And they're almost asking you to take the 49ers. But I'm going to take the Rams. I'm going to take the Rams and hope for a close game. And there is a possibility they could upset them. 49ers beat them, 7 or 8 times in a row in regular season. Rams got them in the championship game a few years ago. Tart drops that interception. I won my game. I had the 49ers was 3.5 won by half a point. So, and you can look on the pregame.com on the monitored picks for that game on that championship game. I really thought the 49ers were going to cover that game and possibly win it, and I said so in the videos back then. Okay, pick number 4. We're taking the New York Jets plus 9.5 at the Dallas Cowboys. I know the Cowboys beat the snot out of the Giants 40-0. That look on Brian Daboll's face was priceless. It was like, oh my God. More like the Roadrunner when he's falling off the cliff. He's got the sign, and his eyes get real big, and he knows he's going to hit the bottom. But Brian Daboll, the head coach of the Giants, couldn't believe his eyes in that rain. And Dallas just walked all over him. Total overreaction. The Jets lost Aaron Rodgers. I had the Jets on their sweeper ticket. But you know what? I felt I got lucky. I confess I got lucky on a couple of those games. I got lucky with the Titans. I got lucky with the Jets. There's no way in this world that the Jets with that Wilson as quarterback supposed to beat Josh Allen and the Bills, but they did. But it wasn't the quarterback play that did it. It was the punt return in the overtime, obviously. But the Jets got a pretty good defense. They got a good defense. And Robert Saleh is going to surprise people. He can show you how much he knows about football. I think he's a great coach. I'm looking for the Jets to do the same thing that I'm looking for other games this week, like the Titans in particular, to slow the game down. Keep the other quarterback on the sideline as much as possible. A heavy dose of that running back, Breece Hall. He got hurt last year, but he's healthy so far this year. He looked pretty good against the Bills, who's got a pretty good defense. So if the Jets can do anything on offense, just do screen out passes, tight end screens, anything to throw off the Cowboys, misdirection plays, Statue of Liberty running plays, delayed play, quarterback sneak for 5 yards a crack if you can the right spot. Anything to keep Wilson from putting the ball in the air and have the Cowboys ball hawks start picking them off and doing some pick sixes. If that happens, the Jets can't win. Kind of game I'm looking for Robert Saleh, his game plan, and he's got to outsmart McCarthy on the other side. And McCarthy could be outsmarted. He's an okay coach, but he can be outsmarted. This gives the Jets a great chance to cover the generous 9.5 points and even possibly win the game. But I'm more leaning on just covering the 9.5 points. That's all I'm asking for. And I have very little confidence in the Jets quarterback Wilson on the news and reports and videos and press and print. The head coach Robert Saleh, the Jets, he insists that Wilson's going to be their man moving forward. All this propaganda. They're talking to Kaepernick. They called Tom Brady. They called Brett Favre. They called this one. They called that one. And some of it may be true. Some of it may be leaked. Who knows? But I saw it and I'm mentioning it now, but I'm not paying any stock in it. I got to go by what the head coach is saying. But behind the scenes, how do you know that general manager's on the waiver wire looking to pick somebody up? How do you know they're not making a deal with the Ravens' backup quarterback or someone else? I mean, how do you know? Could they make a move like that? Yes, they could. Have moves like that been made in the past, despite initial insistings? Yes, it has happened. Robert Saleh is a great head coach, like I just said. It's hard to question his decisions. I mean, I'm a hack. Who am I to question Robert Saleh? But let me put this out here for the viewers and my subscribers and the people that have faith in me. How is Jets management and how's Robert Saleh going to feel when this clown Wilson plays his way on the water boy spot not the bench, the water boy spot by week 5 or week 6 or week 7. How are they going to feel then? Now this is what everybody has, no one's talked about, so I'm going to talk about it now. This quarterback Wilson caused locker room problems last year, and Solly should have got rid of him right then and there, but he didn't. Maybe he couldn't. Maybe Woody Johnson, the owner of the Jets, has got a collar on Solly. Who knows? I hope this bad decision on the Jets' part doesn't cost Solly his job down the road. But we're going to take the gift of 9.5 points, and I'm counting on Solly's game plan to get us that ATS against the spread win. Nothing more. Pick number 5, we're taking the Cleveland Browns -2.5 at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Game situation, the Browns are 1-0. They beat the snot out of the Bengals. I'm using the Browns pick twice this week, just like I'm using the Packers. So I feel pretty strong about this Browns pick. But when you look at me taking the favorites, I try not to give very few points. I got a couple favorites on this ticket. So you must master these -1, -1.5, -2, -2.5 point spread games. You got to master those. If you can bat 80% in those low spread games, you're essentially just picking winners. You do very well in contests. But when you're taking underdogs, taking as many points as the book is offering is giving you, that's easier said than done, but you still got to pick your spots. You can't really master underdog games like you can short chalk favorites. That's a skill you got to have as a handicapper. Browns defense, they might have the best front four in the NFL. That Myles Garrett, I mean, what beast. I mean, they had sacks on Joe Burrow, the rusty Joe Burrow, and they had quarterback hits. Deshaun Watson, he didn't look all that great in the rain game against the Bengals, but he didn't need to be great. Their defense won that game for them. But he looked pretty good. He looked better than he did last year. And I just think the Pittsburgh's overrated. And no one thinks that Tomlin can fall to 0-2. And everybody, I talked about this in the other video with the Browns and the Steelers. Everybody thinks Tomlin's this great head coach. Let me remind people. He inherited this team from Bill Cowher, who I thought was a superior coach. But he inherited his team from Chuck Noll, an all-time great. Those 4 trophies. Bill Cowher got 1 trophy, and Mike Tomlin got 1 trophy early in his head coaching career, taking over from Bill Cowher. He's done nothing since. And he was the beneficiary of Ben Roethlisberger for all those years. And now they don't have Big Ben anymore, and it's going to be tough. I think the Steelers are on a slow decline. Mike Tomlin's never been under 500. Well, he inherited these great teams, and he took all the add-on plugins for your Adobe editing that I should be using for my videos, but I don't. When you already have the foundation, it's easier to build off that foundation, the nucleus. And when you're hodgepodging it like these older teams, like Detroit Lions and the Atlanta Falcons even, they had this young hotshot Dimitroff was the general manager. He was 29 years old when he got that job. And it got him into playoffs, but they didn't do. He's gone now. They went the crap. There's more emphasis and energy, utility, and work putting in the scouting and getting an NFL player on that field. There are jury selections and voir dire jury selections, but there are some general managers like people and sports people. Some general managers are better than others. Some can pick it up, like Ozzie Newsome was a former Cleveland Brown, and he's been a great general manager for Baltimore Ravens and got 2 trophies for him, didn't he? So some general managers are better than others. It's not even on the script here. It just popped in my head. But there are some general managers just better than others, and I think the Browns got a good general manager now, and I think the Browns are on the way up, and I think the Steelers are on the way down. I don't bash these teams to bash them to make them look bad or put them down because I don't like them. That's not true. When you're a handicapper at the level I'm at, you like all the teams. They're all human beings. They're all young, rich men, middle class, middle-aged men for the coaching staffs. Some of them get wealthy, but most of them don't. They're sacrificing 8 months a year away from their families and their lives and their wives and their kids to do this trade. And it's a trade. It's a business. I think the Browns are on the way up, and I think the Steelers are on the way down. Now this week there are 9 home underdogs, so be careful out there. Enjoy the games. Please like, share, subscribe. I mean, you're getting me for free, folks. You're getting me for free. Can you help me out by giving me a like and make a comment on it? Tell me if you like the pick or I don't like your pick, or you messed up last week. Although I only messed up once last week. So you messed up in year 2021, or you look at the old video and say you got that one wrong. Anything that keeps this channel alive. You're getting me for free. That's not asking too much. I'm sharing my 50-some years experience betting on the NFL. And that's a different video for a different day. Thank you. Stay within your means. Money management. Enjoy the games. Long live the NFL. Thank you.